Well, good morning to you and welcome to this morning's reflection. In Luke chapter 23 and verse 34, Jesus says, after saying, "Father, forgive them," he says, "They do not know what they are doing." They do not know what they are doing. There was a 37-year-old man who was thin and almost frail, balding and bespectacled. He was law-abiding and he was timid. And it's not the sort of description that you would give to a vigilante. But he, Bernard Hugo Goods, shot 4 would-be muggers in a New York subway. And he instantly became a hero. People gave and raised money to go toward his defense. Radio talk shows were inundated with callers, and one radio host said, they just won't let this thing go. Why was this? Perhaps because he did what so many of us want to do. He fought back. This unassuming hero embodied a nationwide, even a worldwide, anger and a passion for justice and revenge. And the outpouring of the support that he got is clear evidence of this, that people are mad, people are angry. There is a pent-up, boiling rage within people which enables them to venerate a man who shot and killed would-be muggers. Perhaps we're tired. Perhaps we're tired of being bullied, harassed, and intimidated. Perhaps we're weary of rapists and hired assassins and corruption and a sense of being powerless to chart our own course, knowing that we are at the mercy of a system that is corrupt. And so we're angry at someone, but we don't know who to be angry at. We're scared of something, but we don't know what. And we want so much to fight back, but we really don't know how. And so when we applaud a would-be vigilante or someone who takes the law into their own hands, we feel a surge of, at last, someone has done something. And we approve then of revenge and of anger. But let's think about that for a minute. Anger is a peculiar yet very predictable emotion. It begins as a drop of water. It begins as an irritant. It begins as a frustration. Nothing big, just an aggravation. Someone gets your parking place. Someone pulls in front of you on the freeway. A waitress is slow and you're in a hurry. The toast burns. Drops of water. Drip, 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 drip. Yet get enough of these seemingly innocent drops of anger, and before long you have a bucket full of rage. And before long you have blind bitterness and unharnessed hatred. We trust no one, and we bare our teeth at anyone who gets near us. We become walking time bombs that, given just the right tension and fear, will explode. Now, is that the way to live? What good has hatred ever brought any of us? What hope has anger ever really created? What problems have ever been resolved by revenge? What good is done by revenge? And is that really the way to reduce crime? Will the streets be safer forever because of revenge? Will they be free of fear? No. Anger and revenge do not accomplish that. They only feed a primitive lust for getting our own back. And that in turn feeds our anger. And that in turn feeds our desire for revenge. And that in turn feeds our anger. Vigilantes are not the answer. And so what do we do? How do we cope in this situation? We can't deny that our anger is there. But how do we harness that anger? A good option is found in Luke 23 and 34. When Jesus speaks about the mob that are going to kill him, he says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Have you ever wondered how Jesus kept himself from retaliating? Have you ever asked how he kept his control? And perhaps here's the answer. For they do not know what they are doing. Look carefully. It's as if Jesus considered his bloodthirsty, death-hungry crowd not as murderers, but as victims. It's as if he saw in their faces not hatred, but confusion. It's as if he regarded them not as a militant mob, but as sheep without a shepherd. They do not know what they are doing. And of course they didn't. They hadn't the faintest idea what they were doing. And for the most part, neither do we. We are still, as much as we hate to admit it, shepherdless sheep. We can't answer our own questions about love and hurt. We can't solve the riddle of aging. We don't know how to heal our own bodies or get along with our own companions. We can't keep ourselves out of war. We battle even to feed ourselves. Now, this doesn't justify anything, but it does help to explain why people do the miserable things they do. You see, uncontrolled anger won't make the world better, but sympathetic understanding will. Once we see the world and ourselves for what we are, then we can help. Once we understand ourselves, then we can begin to operate not from a place of anger, but a place of compassion and concern. We look at the world not with bitter frowns, but with extended hands. We realize that the lights are out and a lot of people are stumbling around in the darkness, but we can light the candles. They know not what they are doing. There is something about understanding the world that makes us want to save it and even die for it. Anger and revenge never did any good. Understanding? Well, the results are not as quick as a vigilante's bullet, but they are certainly much, much more constructive. So today, as you meet situations which anger you, perhaps in the back of your mind, play this. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Amen.